Hey there, it's Jen, and I am here to bring you a process video using the Freckled Fawn February kit. I'm starting with this photo of my daughter who's wearing this funky little hat. It's a hat that my grandparents got on. They went on several missions for our church, and they got this one from Guatemala. They have since passed away, but Malia somehow ended up with this hat, and she has been wearing it everywhere lately. So I wanted to do a little page about this hat and also how she just has her own style in general. And so I thought that the colors of the hat kind of went well with the colors of the kit, which is just kind of bright, funky, and fun colors. And so I plan to use some of these products with this layout, and I will just go ahead and get started. I'm going to use these for my title. I think I want it to be really tonal, but I'm going to put a lot of my title, I think I'm going to put my title just directly onto this photo so that it's just, I just like the idea since there's a bunch of white space in the photo. So that's where I'm going with this one. I'm leaning towards putting this photo down towards the bottom since there's so much empty space here, then I can fill this area up and leave this area blank. I could also put it at the top, which I haven't done for a long time, so maybe actually I'll do it at the top. Anyway, I'm kind of talking through my process already, but I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward and talk you through as I go.
Okay, so I am starting with my title, and I already know what my title is going to be and that I want to place it on the photo. So I always start with what I know. And so it's going to be Malia style. And so I'm spelling out the word style on some wax paper. I like to use wax paper because I like to be indecisive, and that way I can move it around and decide exactly where I want it before I commit. I pulled a piece of vellum, and I'm using a black brush script marker to write out the word Malia. I like using my hand lettering on my layouts, and what I'm going to do is just cut around this with some fine-tipped scissors. And sorry, I'm out of frame cutting this, but it's going to look like a die cut when I'm done. And I love using my hand lettering on my projects, and it's really easy to do. And I would encourage you, even if you don't have like a scripty style, but try using your handwriting on some vellum with a black marker and cutting around it, because it really looks like a die cut. And I think it's a fun look, and it's a great way to get a custom title. So I know I want to use all of these different hearts on the layout, and so I'm thinking I want to place an epoxy heart below my title. I thought I would go with that aqua color. I'll end up switching that out because I wanted to go with these pink enamel hearts, and so I'll switch it out for pink so that it's a little bit more matchy, although I think it could have worked. And the other thing that I want to do is use some of these puffy stickers, and I cut one of the hearts off of the strip of hearts, thinking that I could cut up the whole strip into little hearts, but I just didn't like the way it looked, and so I decided not to do that. I will use that little heart that I cut off on the layout as well as the strip there. So I just made the strip go up and down the layout. So what this ends up being is kind of a vertically based design. Everything's going to go down the center, and I'm going to scatter the hearts all down the center. So there will be one of the enamel hearts at the end of each of those border strips, and then at the end of the heart border strip, I'm going to have that big I love you heart. That's the wood veneer. And I like the way that ties in the title, and I think overlapping it on the photo makes everything feel like it goes together. So you can see that I switched out that epoxy heart for that bright pink, and now I'm just placing my title, and I'm containing it completely on the photo, and then I'm using some Scotch quick dry adhesive in a fine line bottle, which comes empty, and you just put whatever glue you like in it on to adhere that little vellum piece. And then you can see I added that little puffy heart in between where the M and the L come up on the word Malia. And I'm adding all of these little enamel hearts with some double-sided tape to the ends of each one of those puffy sticker strips. And I'm going to use that same tape to adhere my wood veneer piece as well. And that's just double-sided tape from Thermoweb, and I think it works really great for adhering these down. It's very strong and very sticky. And so there will be a heart at the end of each of these strips, and then you can see in the center on the photo, there's one below the title, and then there's two more because I like to have groups of three, and so I think that looks really cute. So now I'm going to cut off the branding strip. I can't believe I left it this long, but cut off the branding strip, and then I'm going to write my journaling. And I decided to use the lines of the puffy stickers as journaling lines. And so on the ones that have a straight top, the scalloped ones, I'm writing just a few lines about how Malia's got a funky sense of style. She always has, and she's been wearing this hat around lately, and it's super funny and cute. And she has her little frog slap bracelet on too. And above the row of hearts, the puffy hearts, what I'm going to do is just stamp the date over and over. And I'm just stamping January 2017 and stamping it several times without re-inking it so that you get kind of a varied look. And then just to add in another little pop of color, and because I couldn't not use these, they're my favorite thing in the kit, the little vellum word strips. I'm adding 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom, and I think they add just a little pop of that blue color, which I love. And then I was thinking that the space to the left of the photo looked empty, and I really like the way that aqua paint splatter card looks, but I end up switching it for this one that says I love you, and those are from the love journal cards. And what I'm going to do now is mix up a pink color that kind of matches the pink that's in the hearts to color in the wreath that's around the word I love you, or the words I love you. And so I'm just using a water brush, and you can see that those inexpensive watercolors, I think I got them at Michael's or something, and just painting in these little leaves on the wreath. And leaves don't have to be green, it's okay. They look kind of like hearts the way they're shaped, and so I think it works well. And I'm kind of letting the color be darker in some areas and lighter in some areas because I think it gives a more interesting look. So that's going to just slide right underneath my photo, and I'm making sure there's an equal distance between the edge of the card and the left-hand side of the layout, and then the edge of the photo and the right-hand side of the layout. And now I'm going to add a few paint splatters in this Heidi Swap Gold Color Shine because there's some gold in that epoxy heart, and so I wanted to bring in a little bit more gold. And then as a finishing touch, what I'm going to do is rip a piece of this washi tape in half. I'm going to use half of it on the bottom and half of it on the top. And that kind of like end caps the layout in and just gives a nice little touch. And then finally, I will add a few gold staples, and that is going to finish everything off. And I have some close-up photos coming up at the end. You can see how quickly I was able to throw this together just using a sheet of paper from my stash and then this kit, and I love the way it turned out. If you want to find out more about the kits, go to freckledfawn.com. I'll leave a link in the video description, and thanks so much for joining me.